All right, we are doing the third 9 weeks test review answer key here. First problems here are exponents. So we got to know our exponent rules. When we multiply with the same base, we add the exponent. So 6 plus -3, that becomes +3. So the base remains the same. 6 minus 3 is 3. And we can solve this. 3 to the third power is 27, because 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 3 is 27. All right, next, number 2. We have an unwritten 1 here for the 3. So we distribute power to a power, we multiply. That gives me 3, and then 2 times 1 is 2. 4 times 2 is 8. So 3 squared, m8. And 3 squared, we can multiply, it's 9. So we get 9m to the 8th power. Number 3, we're dividing. So we're going to divide the numbers. So 40 divided by 10 is 4. And then when we divide, we subtract the exponent. So it's k, and it's 12 minus -6. And 2 negatives back to back, that becomes a positive. So it becomes 12 plus 6, which is 18. So 4k to the 18th. Number 4, we're multiplying. This is kind of like number 3, number 1 with the 3's. So -100 times 5 is 500, because 2 negatives equal a positive. And then we add the exponent. So the same base, h and h. So 20 plus 10 is 30. Number 5, we're back to division like number 3. So 2 over 12, that reduces to 1/6. We then subtract the exponents. So it's -1 minus 4. And then the w, it's 2 minus -5. So 1 minus -4, that's -5. So it moves to the bottom to become +5. And then 2, and then again, 2 negatives back to back means plus. So it becomes 2 plus 5. So it'll be w to the 7th power over 6p to the 5th. Then number 6, this again is kind of like number 4 and a little bit like number 1. -6 times 8, that's -48. We have 12, our x's. So 12 minus 4, that's going to be 8. Then our y's, -2 plus 6 is 4. So -48, x8, y4. All right. Now, on this one, we're using the order of operations here, because now we have more these power to a power, more of these. We want to follow the order of operations when necessary. So here, number 7. Again, we're going to distribute the exponent first. That gives me 2 cubed, because 3 times the unwritten 1 is 3. And then 3 times 3 is 9. And so this will be times 10x -8. So 2 to the 3rd power. 2 times 2 is 4. Times 2, this becomes 8. So 8x to the 9th times 10x -8. So 8 times 10 is 80. Then 9 minus 8 is 1, so 80x. Number 8, I'm going to do the inside of the parentheses first, then the exponent. So 2 times 5 is 10. 4 plus the unwritten 1 is 5, and this is the 3rd power. The 10 has an unwritten 1 as the exponent, so it becomes 10 to the 3rd power, which is 1,000. And then 5 times 3 is 15. So you get 1,000 c to the 15th. Number 9, we're going to go ahead and simplify inside before we do the exponent. So 12 minus 6 is 6. So it's 7a to the 6th power, sorry, -7a to the 6th power squared. And now we do power to a power. So -7 times -7, that's +49. And then 6 times 2 is 12. We multiply the exponents. Number 10, we're going to do the numerator first. Then we will cancel with the denominator. So negative 8 squared, that's 64. And then 5 times 2 is 10. We get 64e10 over 4e cubed. So 64 divided by 4 is 16. And 10 minus 3 is 7. So that's 16e to the 7th. Number 11. Going to take care of the power to a power there first. So I have negative 4 y to the 7th. So 5 squared is 25. And 4 times 2 is 8. Negative 4 times 25 is negative 100. 7 plus 8 is 15. Again, same base as you add there. Number 12, we take care of the denominator first. Then we will divide. We do our exponents, our power to a power, and then we'll divide. So it's 27 e to the 18 over. So 3 to the third power is 27. 3 times 3 is 9. Times 3 again is 27, or the unwritten 1 is there. 6 times 3 is 18. So the 27s cancel, and we have e to the 18th over f to the 18th. Number 13, we're going to do parentheses first, then the exponent. So 12 divided by 3, that's 4. 15 minus negative 5 is 15 plus 5 is 20. So it's 4 be the 20th raised to the third power. So 4 to the third power is going to be 64. 20 times 3 is 60. So 64 be to the 60th. 14, I'm missing the bracket right there. You're going to add that bracket there. So again, we're going to do the inside part first, then the exponent. So negative 3 times 4 is negative 12. 10 minus 6 is 4. This is negative 12 d to the 4th to the third power. So now, negative 12 to the third power is going to be negative 1,728. And then 4 times 3 is 12, so negative 1728 d12. Number 15, don't let number 15 scare you. We got to take care of the numerator first. Simplify the top number and then the bottom, and then a lot of stuff will cancel. So do power to a power. So 12 squared is 144. It's x squared, y to the 4th, z to the 20th. All those terms times 2. The denominator, 9 times 8 is 72. 5 minus 3, that's x squared. There's only this one y, y to the 4th. There's only that z to the 10th. So 144 divided by 72, that equals 2. It divides evenly. 2 minus 2 is 0, so the x cancels out. 4 minus 4 is 0, the y cancels out. And then the z, we have 20 minus 10, that's 10. So the answer is 2z to the 10th. All right, now we're doing functions and transformations. So number 16, it says use interval notation here. So it starts at 6. It's an open circle. That means it is parentheses. And it goes all the way to infinity, which will also be parentheses. Number 17, it's at negative infinity. Goes all the way to negative 6. And because we have 2 of them, we draw a U for a union. We're going to include both of these ones. We have 10 to positive infinity. These are all parentheses because nothing's equal to. Now, number 18, we got to have the number line, we got to graph it. So the negative 3 has a bracket. That means at negative 3, it's equal to, you have a closed circle. At 4, it's a parenthesis. It's an open, it's a circle. So now we shade between the two. Number 19, domain and range. We're still using interval notation. But the domain, this is our x value. So from here to here on the x-axis. the lowest point, or the farthest to the left, is at -6, and it's not equal to. So in parentheses, the farthest to the right is at +6. Again, not equal to, parentheses. The range is our y value. So the lowest point of the graph right here up to the highest point of the graph right there. So the lowest point is at -4. The graph touches here at -4. So it's going to be a bracket. At +4, the highest point, it's not equal to. So it's going to be a parenthesis for that one. Number 20, the domain. The farthest point to the left is right here on the x-axis at -5, and it does touch -5. It goes the arrow here means it goes to infinity. So it's -5 to infinity. The range is the lowest point, again, to the highest point. So the range is right there. That is at -7. And it goes up. And again, the arrow means it goes up to positive infinity. All right, reviewing our exponential transformations. Remember, the x is a liar. So the x is right and left. The x has positive. That really means we move left. And when it says negative, that usually means to the left, that it's lying to us. So that means that we move to the right. The plus k, the k is a stand-up guy, always tells the truth. So if k's up and down, it says positive. That means we move up. If k says negative, we move down. And the negative a means that we are going to reflect across the x-axis. So the x-axis acts as a mirror. And so we're going to have the graph point down. All right, with our transformations now, we have to describe the transformation. So here on 26, we have 1/4. The a value is 1/4. We have stretching and we have compressing. If it's greater than 1, we stretch. If it's between 0 and 1, it's compressed. So this compresses by 1/4. So compress by 1/4. The -4, that is our h value. That means we would think left usually, but it's going to lie to us. That means right 4. Then the +6 means we move up 6 because the k tells the truth. 27, remember it's a times b to the x minus h plus k. So the a value is 1. Does it do anything here? The 4 is just the base. The +3 is the opposite. So instead of right 3, we move left 3. And the -2 means we move down 2. All right, now to graph this. Because the a value here, the base here, excuse me here, 1 second. All right, need some more there, sorry. All right, because the b value here is greater than 1, it is growth. Because b is greater than 1, and the 3 is the b value. Here's our formula there for exponential, so it's going to be growth. The center, so the a is 1, b is 3, the x value is 0. There's nothing with the x. Sorry, this is the h, my bad, hk, my bad. It's 0, and the k is -2. So the center, you take the x value, 0, you plug it in. So you get 3 to the 0 minus 2. 3 to the 0, that's going to be 1 minus 2, which is -1. So 0, -1 is our center. The domain is always going to be all real numbers. Because the graph is growth, it goes up. The range is from the k value, -2, all the way to infinity. And the asymptote is always going to be, the line here is going to be y equals the k value, which is -2. So I picked two numbers, 2 greater and 2 less than the center. And I plug them in with our equation. So it's 3 squared minus 2, 3 minus 2, already have 0. And then we have 3, -2 minus 0. So 3 squared is 9. 9 minus 2 is 7. It's going to be 3 minus 2 is 1. So this becomes 1 over 3, or 1/3, minus 2, which gives us negative 1.67. And this is going to be 1/9 minus 2, because remember, when we move it to get rid of the negative exponent, it must go to the denominator. And so 3 squared is 9. And we get negative 1.89 when we round this one. So here is the asymptote here at negative 2. So remember on an exponential graph, the line cannot touch the asymptote. So I have 2, 7, 1, 1, 0, negative 1. And then these two you can't really graph. It's going to get closer and closer there without touching the asymptote. So the line's going to run parallel to the asymptote and then shoot up like a rocket with our exponential graph. So that is number 28. Number 29, we have absolute value. We have our H value is negative 3. We change the sign there. And the K value is also at negative 3. The AOS is going to be X equals the H value, which is negative 3. The vertex is HK, so negative 3, negative 3. The domain is going to be all real numbers, as always. And the range, because the A value is positive, the graph points up. So it goes from the K value, which is negative 3, to infinity. So I have negative 3, negative 3. So I'll do negative 2, negative 1, negative 4, and negative 5. So we have x plus, the absolute value of x plus 3 minus 3. So I plug in negative 1, plus 3. And real quick. All right, so negative 1 plus 3 is 2. The absolute value of 2 is 2. So 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Negative 2 plus 3 is 1. The absolute value of 1 is 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Remember, absolute value is going to be reflexive. So when I have these, I know right now that this is negative 2 and negative 1. It goes down and then starts moving back up. And negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. Absolute value of negative 1 is 1. 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 5 plus 3 is negative 2. Absolute value is 2. 2 minus 3 is negative 1. Remember, absolute value, V. In value, the graph is a V. So we have negative 1, negative 1, 0, negative 2. I'm sorry, I need to look at the probs here. Went the wrong way. Negative 2, negative 2 went the wrong way there. Negative 3, negative 3, negative 4, negative 2, and then negative 5, negative 1. There are my points, and now I graph them in a V shape right there for absolute value. All right, growth and decay. To determine if the function y equals 1.5 times 1.03 to the t power is exponential growth or decay, identify the rate of growth or decay. If this number right here, if this number is greater than 1, it is growth. If it is less than 1, it is decay. So 1.03 is greater than 1. That means that it is growth. So it can't be B, it can't be D. And we look at the last two numbers, the 0.03. And so 0.03 times 100, to move the decimal, gives us 3%. So the growth, it's going to be growth at 3%. I need some water real quick. All right, we're back here. Sorry, I need some water there. So 31 here. Which of the following totals can be found using an exponential function as a model? So exponential function, remember, it's not constant. It's going to be slow, like a rocket taking off. Like our absolute value was constant. It moved up to the up one, whichever direction it went, or down one, however you're looking at it. It's constant. This is not constant. So water dripping from a leaking faucet for X hours, that is constant. The constant drip, 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 drip. It's not going to be exponential. It doesn't change. It doesn't start slow and then get where the faucet is just water's pouring out of the faucet where you can't turn it off. The distance traveled by a race car completing X amount of laps. If one lap is 2 miles, then 2 is 4, 3 is 6, 4 is 8, 5 is 10, 6 is 12, and so on. It's a constant rate of change, and exponential is not. The cost of X are people to go to a dinner at a local restaurant. There's no function there as far as, it's a buffet. If it's $20 for a buffet $20 for one person, 40 for two, 60 for three, 80 for four, and so on. That's not going to be exponential. The last one, the population of fish in a pond, if the population decreases by 0.5%, or it's growth or decay. So this pond is decreasing by 0.5% each year. That is the key to this problem. The D is the answer because this is the exponential decay, because it tells us it decreases, number one, and number two, it gives us the percent. So that's very, very important to identify which one of those models works there. All right, chapter 8 now. Adding and subtracting polynomials. We want to name each of these polynomials by degree and the number of terms. So number 32, we have n to the fifth power. So the fifth power, that is the degree. That is quintic. And then the number of terms, we have 2 terms. 1, 2. So that's 2 terms is a binomial. That is a quintic binomial. Number 33, I have squared and then 0. So and again, 2 terms is a binomial, a quadratic binomial. And so again, the 5th degree is quintic. But now I only have 1 term. So all right, 35 through 37, we are adding or subtracting our like. Change this to a plus and change all of the signs inside the parentheses. And now I'm going to line. Goes underneath 3x to the 5th. Positive 13x goes with 10x. And then negative 12 goes with negative 13. And we add our terms up. So 3 minus 7 is negative. Negative 10 plus 13 is positive 3x. And negative 13 minus 12 is negative 25. All right, number 36 here. We're continuing to simplify expressions here. Now I got a plus this time. So now all I have to do is write my like terms together. So because it's a plus, the signs do not change. So it becomes negative 6x cubed. I got plus 2x to the 5th. And then I have my squared plus 8x squared. So 3 minus 6 is negative 3x cubed. Negative 13 plus 2 is negative 11x to the 5th. And then 3 plus 8 is 11. Now this is not minus 3x cubed plus 11x squared. So my exponents go from the highest 5 down to the lowest 2. Signs here on the back half and then combine like terms. So it's plus, 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 and plus. So k squared is plus k cubed. Then k to the fourth, I got plus 3k to the fourth. So it's 17k squared minus 10k cubed plus 16k to the fourth. And again, I need to rewrite this in standard form. So 16k to the fourth minus 10k cubed plus 17k squared. Make sure it is in standard form on both of those there. You got to rewrite those. All right, number 28 here, we are factoring the common factor. So what is in common with all three of these terms here on 38? So 7 goes into all three terms. I do have a y squared here, but there's no y here, but there's no y here. So it's just 7 is the GCF, and every term is divided by 7. That gives me 4y squared plus x plus y. 39, I got to look here, so I have 4, 28, and 28. So 4 numerically is my GCF. It divides into all three terms. I have a y here, a y in the middle one, and a y there. So the lowest exponent is 1, so it's just 4y. Then I have a z squared here, and a z squared there. So they all have a z squared also. So I factor out 4y z squared. So 4y z squared divided by 4y z squared, that's going to be 1. Everything cancels. 28 divided by 4, that's 7. 5 minus the 1, the exponent, is 4. And 2 minus 2 is 0, so the z's cancel. So I have 7y to the fourth as my middle term. The negative 28 divided by 4 is negative 7. 1 minus 1 is 0, it goes away. 2 minus 2 is 0, the z goes away. So I do have the x cubed still left. So 4y z squared times 1 plus 7y to the fourth minus 7x cubed. Then number 40, I have a 5 in common numerically with all three terms. I have an x, and x, so x to the fourth, they all have a 4. I have a y here, a y there, and a y here, so 1 is the lowest exponent, so 5x to the fourth y. 20 divided by 5 is 4. The x cancels, the y cancels. That's all this in the first term. Negative 45 divided by 5 is negative 9. 4 minus 4 is 0. The x goes away. 2 minus 1 is 1. And there's not a z in the common factor, so the z remains. So negative 9yz. The final term, negative 5, and 5 is 1. 4 minus 4 is 0. X goes away. 6 minus the unwritten 1 is 5. So y to the fifth. And then we have z cubed. That's our answer to number 40, how we factor out the GCF. We're multiplying now 41 through 46. So we distribute, we multiply the numbers, and we add the exponents. So 3 times 2 is 6. The exponents 1 plus 1 is 2. That's 6p squared. Then 3 times 2 is 6. So it's 6p squared minus 6p. 42, same thing. That gives me 12m squared plus 14m minus 4. Take the 2 times every single term there. Number 43, we double distribute. I'm going to do it down here a little bit. 43. 6b minus 4 times 6v minus 7. So we double distribute. Take the 6v, distribute. That gives me 36v squared minus 42v. Then take the negative 4, and that gives us negative 24v plus 28. we now combine the like terms. And so negative 42 minus 24 is negative 66v. So it's 36v squared minus 66v plus 28. Number 44, the same thing. 6x plus 4 times x plus 4. Double distribute. That gives me 6x squared plus 24x. And then plus 4x plus 16 with the 4 being distributed. Now I have 6x squared plus 28x plus 16. Can we just double distribute? Number 45, we have 3p minus 6 squared. Remember, this means to write the term twice. So it's 3p minus 6 times 3p minus 6, and we double distribute. That's 9p squared minus 18p, and then negative 8 plus 36. So 9p squared minus 36p plus 36. All right? And then the last one here, 46. Now it is a binomial and a trinomial. This is why we do not FOIL, because we could not do this problem if we FOILed. So we double distribute. So 3n times all three terms. That is 3n cubed minus 24n squared plus 12n. We take the negative 2. That gives us negative 2n squared plus 16n minus 8. And then combine our like terms. So 3n cubed minus 26n squared plus 28n minus 8. And so that's it for multiplying and finding the products. All right. Now the last part we did before the end of the 9 weeks, factoring trinomials. So what multiplies to 10 and subtracts to 3? That is 5 and 2. Our signs are different because the second sign's a negative. The bigger number is positive because the first sign's positive. So 5 is bigger. So it's r plus 5, r minus 2. Number 8, what multiplies to 8? Sorry, 48. What multiplies to 8 and subtracts to 7? That's going to be 8 times 1. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 minus 1 is 7. Signs will be different because the second sign's negative. The bigger number will be negative because the first number is negative. The first sign's negative. So p minus 8, p plus 1. Number 49, don't let all the exponents fool you. Remember, this exponent must be even, and this one must be even. And you take half of it as v squared and w, and then v squared and w. So what multiplies to 28 and subtracts to 3? That's 7 and 4. Again, the v is at the front of the problem. It goes at the front of the answer. The w's at the end of the problem. It goes at the end of the answer. Second sign's negative. That means their signs are different. First sign's the positive. That means the bigger number is positive. So 7 is bigger. So 7's a plus and 4 is a negative. All right, number 50. First thing you got to do is ask yourself, is there something in common? And there is nothing in common. So we have 3d squared plus 20d plus 12. I know most of you in my classes do first times last. If you do guess and check, 1 and 3 is the only thing that goes into for the first part. So it's d squared plus 20d plus 36. So what numbers multiply to 36 and add to 20? That's going to be, let's see, that is going to be 18 and 2. Signs are the same. They're both positive. But we multiplied by 3. Now you must divide by 3. So 18 divided by 3 is 6. The bottom number comes in front of the D. So we get D plus 6 times 3D plus 2. Remember, on these, the order does not matter. Just make sure that you have the correct sign with the correct terms. 51, we have 2m squared minus m minus 15. So again, first times last. So m squared minus m minus 30. So what factors of 30 subtract to 1? It is 6 and 5. Signs are different. Bigger number is negative. We got to divide by 2. We multiplied by 2. That gives us m minus 3 and 2m plus 5. Then number 52, we have 5t squared minus 24t minus 5. Again, first times last. T squared minus 24t minus 25. So what equals 25 and subtracts to 24? That is 25 and 1. Signs are different. Bigger number is negative. We multiplied by 5. Now we divide by 5. And we get t minus 5 and 5t plus 1. 53. Now on 53, things are a little different here. Because remember, the exponent here must be even in order to factor this. And on 53, we have 5z cubed minus 17z squared plus 14z. Because of the 3 there, we can't factor. However, there is a z in common with all the terms, which now makes this z at the beginning an even exponent. So now I can do first times last and solve this. Now the z here is a part of the answer. It must come down each time, but we're not using it anymore to solve the problem. And so 14 times 5 is 70. So what numbers equal 70 and add to 17? That's going to be 10 and 7. Signs are the same. They're both negative. We multiplied by 5. Now divide by 5. So we get z times z minus 2 and 5z minus 7. Or x squared minus 4x minus 15. There's nothing in common here, so do first times last. So x squared minus 4x minus 60. So what factors of 60 subtract to 4? It is 10 and 6. Signs are different. Bigger number is negative. Multiplied by 4, divide by 4. Now here, that doesn't divide evenly. So 10 over 4 reduces to 5 halves. 6 over 4 reduces to 3 halves. And now we get 2x minus 5 and 2x plus 3. Take the new denominator and put it in front of the x. Last problem, number 55. We have 3p squared minus 7p minus 40. So 3 times 4, 40, excuse me, that is 120. So what factors of 120 subtract to 7? 15 and 8. 15 times 8 is 120. 15 minus 8 is 7. Signs will be different. Bigger number is negative. Divided by 3 is 5. And put the 3 in front, and we get 3p plus 8 for our answer. So that's it. Good luck on your 9 weeks test.